I got ice-guyed into an anime that was still airing. The system told me if I didn't rank in the viewers' top 10 for popularity, I'd be written off with a plot death. To survive, I took out a loan from the system. 1 million popularity points. Loan approved. The system maxed out every one of my stats. 2 years later, the story was finally about to begin. First place in popularity this season, I will claim it. At the foot of the mountain, Caroline shouted up at me. Damien, the organization's final assessment, it's about to start. Get down here now. The stage was set. Time for the actors to take their places. I leapt down from the peak and landed beside Caroline. Morning, Caroline. Music. Seeing my careless grin, Caroline nearly blew a fuse. Hey, Damien. Do you even know what day it is? It's crunch time and you're out here watching the sunrise. Aren't you even scared we'll fail the assessment? Hit by that sonic blast of a voice, I clapped my hands over my ears. Seeing that, Caroline calmed down and softened her tone. Damien, I'm not joking right now. You have to take this seriously today, understand? By then, Caroline couldn't hold back her tears. Because if we fail this assessment. I patted her head. Relax, Caroline. I'm here. We're not going to fail. Why? Caroline tilted her head, baffled by my confidence. If you really want a reason, it's obviously because I'm the strongest. With the sunrise at my back. Music. I declared it with all the swagger I had. Even Caroline got swept up in the moment. But the next second, my eyes went wide with panic. What's wrong, Damien? What happened? Music. Caroline was completely lost. Something terrible happened. Caroline, this is serious. I flailed my arms in distress. Damien, stop just saying something terrible. Tell me exactly what happened. Caroline, the cafeteria has my favorite strawberry cake today, but I was too busy watching the sunrise and I forgot to go get some. So, I asked Auntie Lena to save me a slice. Hearing that, music, Caroline's panic vanished instantly, replaced by pure exasperation. Caroline, think I still have time to make it to the cafeteria? Before I even finished the sentence, I was already sprinting down the mountain. Watching me go, Caroline sighed. The top-ranked star core sync rate in the whole program, a perfect score on every midterm exam, and this was Damien. Why is it that you act like such a goofy kid, and yet when the words the strongest come out of your mouth, somehow it makes people feel like it's just true? Music, I don't want to admit it, but compared to you, we really don't feel like we're from the same world. An hour later, Caroline and I arrived at the Ember training grounds. Damien, are you part hamster? How do you eat that much? You actually ate my slice of strawberry cake, too. Caroline glared at me furious. Hamster, please. This is called strategic reserves. Besides, Caroline, today's the final assessment. Everyone's temper is bad enough on a normal day, and right now they're all one spark away from exploding. A total powder keg. If a fight breaks out later, before I could finish, the anime's protagonist showed up. Finn, he stammered. Did Damien? Caroline, I threw an arm around him and roughed up his hair. Morning, had breakfast yet? Yeah, I ate already. Finn's eyes darted away. What did you have? Just the regular nutrition meal. The more he said it, the less confident he sounded, not daring to lift his head, fingers fidgeting with his hem. Truth was, someone had stolen his breakfast, but he didn't dare say so. What? I looked utterly scandalized. On the single most important day of the final assessment, you ate that pig slop? No wonder your star core won't activate. Finn, my friend, now genuinely worried, Finn asked, does what I eat for breakfast actually affect my star core? Of course it does, I said with total conviction. As the #1 genius of Ember, my brain alone burns through the sugar of 3 grown adults every single day. You want to know why I'm this strong? It's simple. I eat double dessert every day. If you did the same, ate double sweets every single day, you might just wake your star core right up. Really? Finn's eyes lit up, half tempted. Idiot, he's lying to you. Zara arrived just in time to shut down my sugar sermon. Sis, Finn hadn't expected his sister to show up, too. Damien, trying to peddle that garbage sugar theory of yours to con him again? Zara didn't hold back. How is that a con? Science proves it. Sugar not only fuels the brain, it also shuts certain people up. Not everyone's like you, a hardcore sweet tooth addict. Zara, that hurts my feelings. And such a big reaction, too. Could it be you're not actually looking down on Finn, but jealousy's getting my personal coaching? Should have just said so. If you told me sooner. Jealous of this washout? Are you mocking me? Zara drew her blade and leveled it at me. 2 years. He can't even manage basic power sensing. And you think trash like that? Whoa, hey, easy. I can let a lot slide, but calling your own brother that's not okay. Am I wrong? Out of 36 students in the Starchild program, he's the only one whose star core hasn't even. That's because his star core is special. My star core is special? Finn asked, unsure of himself. Yeah, very special. So special that besides me, no one else has figured out what it even is. Want to know what I found out? I leaned in and whispered, your star core isn't dormant. It's too strong. So strong even you can't control it yet. Then, music, why? Finn started, voice trembling with excitement. I just shushed him. Finn, the fun's in finding the answer yourself, don't you think? The next moment staff arrived on the scene. Oh, looks like the assessment's about to start. Good luck, music, Finn. I've got high hopes for you. Finn bit his lip, visibly moved. Idiot, you actually believe that garbage? Zara kept jeering. Damien's obviously just messing with you. If your star core were really that special, why hasn't the organization noticed it either? Zara, how about a bet? Whether or not Finn awakens his star core during the final assessment. Bet on what? Dessert. If I win, your dessert's mine for the next 3 months. If I lose, you get mine for 3 months instead. Deal. But you don't get to help him. No problem. Truth was, I'd already checked the original script through the popularity system. Finn would get pushed to the brink during the assessment and finally awaken that absurdly broken power to nullify star energy. This bet was already mine. On top, music, of that, I want you to change the terms of the bet. Change what? If I win, I don't want your dessert. Fighting spirit blazed in Zara's eyes. I want you to go all out and fight me. For real. At that, I turned serious, channeling my star core to pin her down. Zara, some things, music, I can let slide once, twice, but a third time, a fourth, that's a different story entirely. After all, a lion doesn't tolerate a hunting dog nipping at it over and over. So, Zara, once you've truly mastered your own star core and understand what it's really for, come talk to me about this again. Because right now, you're nowhere close to earning my serious effort. You can't even withstand my music aura, can you? Zara said nothing, fingers tightening on her hilt. Just then, the door to the Ember training hall opened, drawing everyone's attention. Oh, bullying a classmate again, little Damien? Vera sauntered over teasing. That's slander, Vera. I was just having a friendly, productive chat with the Zara. Cut it out. That's not friendly, that's bullying. The assessment's about to start, and you're picking a fight with a classmate. Zara, did you forget the organization's rules? Put that blade away. Zara obeyed, silently turning away. Little Damien, why do you always have to needle the Zara? You two are both the organization's most promising talents. Can't you just get along? Not my fault, Vera. I spread my hands innocently. Zara's the one provoking me. This is self-defense. Vera sighed exasperated. Fine, I'll deal with you after the assessment. Get back with your team now. The assessment's starting soon, and plenty of VIPs are here from the organization today, so don't you dare screw this up. Relax, Vera. I'm the strongest, remember? Vera was left speechless by my confidence. Caroline leaned in and asked, Hey, Damien, what you told Finn earlier, was any of that true? Guess, I said teasing. Caroline mulled it over. Though the failure rate for star core surgery ran high. Anyone who survived and walked off that operating table, and had held on this long, had already adapted to the star core lodged inside them. For 2 years now, Finn had shown no sign of any star core ability, and yet he'd shown no rejection symptoms either. Instead, he was just fine, as ordinary as someone who'd never had the surgery at all. But looked at another way, Finn's very normal state was itself deeply abnormal. Finn lowered his head. Hence. Music. Exactly, I finished silently in my head, especially since everyone basically froze him out. Caroline hadn't said a single word to him in 2 years. As for me, in a way I was more arrogant than any of them. Because in my eyes they were nothing but ants, all interchangeable, which was exactly why Finn could feel something like respect from me. I hadn't lied to him, of course. As the transmigrator, I knew better than anyone just how special Finn, the true protagonist, really was. His star core surgery had gone flawlessly. His compatibility was a perfect 100%, same as Zara's. It was just latent. The reason, his mother, a humanoid star beast that made Finn and Zara born bond stars. Finn's bloodline leaning human, Zara's leaning beast. Passing as human was in fact Finn's innate ability. A broken game-breaking power to nullify all star energy. But that same power was suppressing his own star core. The moment he realized that he could unlock its full strength. Between the two siblings, they effectively carried two star cores, a blatant unfair advantage. If I hadn't hacked my own stats early, there'd be no way I could hold down Zara maxed out from birth. As for Finn though, before the final assessment arc played out, he wouldn't find the key to his own power. The story's original plot had been built around the siblings' conflict. But now that I was here, I wasn't about to let those two steal every spotlight. First place in popularity, that was mine, Damien's to claim. While we waited for the assessment to begin 100m underground in the very important person chamber, a gathering of powerful elites had assembled. They had one purpose here, assessing the value of the Star Child program. Take a look everyone, this is the crown jewel of our Star Child program. Star Child Sequence 001, Damien. Overall potential rated S rank. Just 6 months after his Star Core surgery, he was already capable of single-handedly defeating a Special Forces tactical unit. Astonishing power. As the doctor spoke, footage of the battle played. Watching that display of raw power, a woman gasped. That's impossible. Reaching that level without a star source. Doctor, are you certain this footage isn't doctored? I'd stake my life on it. Neither clip has been touched in post. What's even more astonishing, this battle took place 183 days after Damien's Star Core surgery. In other words, music, he wasn't even 11 years old yet. Hearing that, the woman shifted in her seat. The Heaven's Eye Beast, a legendary Star Core species said to glimpse the future. The doctor said, gesturing at my Star Core, and Damien's compatibility with it is a perfect 100%. Did you know, before his Star Core surgery, we ran a star energy scan on this boy. The result, S rank. Wow, that's impossible. S rank naturally awakened. An S rank prodigy by birth, paired with a perfect Star Core, limitless potential, perfect natural talent, perfect Star Core compatibility, and an unmatched gift for combat. Pay attention to this part. One of the Heaven's Eye Beast's powers, future sight. Right now, Damien can't yet unlock the full potential of those eyes. He can only foresee an opponent's movement roughly half a second ahead. But that's already enough for him to leapfrog ranks without a star source at all and take on veteran Tier 1 combat star wielders. Music. Doctor, name your price. Madame Canary anxiously tore the gem from her chest. Is the Heart of Eternal Night enough? I'm afraid, everyone, Damien is not for sale because he alone can carry the dreams of us old fools and prove to everyone who once betrayed us, cast us aside, and looked down on us that so-called embers aren't just ash left over after the fires burned out ready to be swept away. Damien can just as well kindle the spark of a new era, and in that new era, blaze up again, bright enough to outshine every star in the sky. We believe with everything we have that under his lead, the embers will soon bring the so-called star era to its end and open a brand new one. Are you ready to welcome a new age, everyone? An age named Damien. A new age, Doctor? Mr. Viper rose to his feet. Just now, you seem to have skipped over a rather critical question. That question being, this so-called perfect creation of yours, can he actually be controlled? Because I don't believe a star wheeler that powerful would ever willingly become someone else's tool for chasing a dream. Would, music, he? Honored guest, I think you've misunderstood something. I said it from the very start. Damien is our chosen leader, not are we never intended to control Damien at all. All he has to do is be himself, even if that choice might one day bring us to ruin. And even if that day comes, we still believe he'll carry the newborn embers to heights we've never reached and in some entirely new way make the dreams of us old fools come true. I see. Sounds like you've already thought this all through and you're willing to bear whatever the worst outcome might be. In that case, I have no further objections. Mr. Viper sat back down. Music, the doctor moved on to the next listing. Starchild Sequence 002, Nature Type Leo. Star Core Compatibility 99%. Starchild Sequence 003, Iris. Custom instrument, the butterfly of pure splendor. Star core compatibility 92%. Music. Starchild sequence 004, Caroline. Mecha Intel type, Starseer Mongoose. Star core compatibility 90%. Starchild sequence 005, Starchild sequence 036, Finn. Trait type, Black Star. Star core compatibility unknown. For Finn's entry, there was no combat footage at all and the file itself was strangely thin. What's this? The file on this last Starchild is barely anything and his compatibility is listed as unknown, Madame Canary asked puzzled. That's because we can't confirm whether his Starcore surgery even succeeded at all. At that, Madame Canary leaned forward sharply as if about to speak. All right everyone, the venue for the final assessment has already been arranged. Please follow me. Meanwhile, an announcement echoed out. The final assessment was about to begin. All students were to report to the central testing ground. Watching Finn tense up, I told him, calm and steady. Remember, when you feel like you're out of options, just ask yourself why you're still alive right now. Then I turned and called out to Caroline. Let's go, Caroline. Right. I took the lead, Caroline beside me, and stepped first into the dim underground passage. Zara followed close behind. Finn watched my retreating back, my words echoing in his mind. Why am I still alive right now? I want to know that too, he thought before hurrying to catch up. We waited for the final assessment to begin. The other students murmured around us, none of them showing the slightest nerve about it. All right kiddos, ready to meet real hell? The moment Vera's words landed, a massive transparent barrier rose up. The center of the arena split open and a colossal beast nearly 20 m tall stepped out. Oh, you've got to be kidding me. Its power readings pushing close to 3,000. A tier -2 star beast, the Terra Worm. Correct. This is your final assessment for today and the task itself isn't complicated. Just find any way you can to survive as long as possible against this thing. Music, 3 minutes. You can form teams of up to 3 to take it on together. Alright, that's everything about the final assessment. Now go find yourselves a team. With that, Vera walked over to the Terra Worm and patted its head. In front of her, it was as docile as a puppy, but I knew to the rest of us it was pure undiluted terror. Students quickly swarmed toward me. I was, after all, ranked first among them. Finn wanted to come over, too, but he hesitated. Awkward. Did Damien? Sorry, no can do. This assessment's a tough one, Finn. Even bringing you along, I can't guarantee we'd handle that thing. Besides, there's someone who suits you better as a partner than I do, isn't there? Finn lowered his head, too afraid to go ask his sister. Instead, it was Zara who walked over on her own. Her tongue is sharp as ever. Don't slow me down out there. Okay, sis? Finn couldn't help ducking his head into his collar, as if trying to disappear. Watching the two of them head off together, I turned to needle Zara. Hey, Caroline. You think Zara has some hidden setting we don't know about? Otherwise, why does she clearly care about Finn deep down? But every time they meet, she acts like they're mortal enemies. Like she wishes he just vanish off the face of the earth. Caroline tail curled around her tactical tablet, busy analyzing the Terra Worm, ignored me completely. Fine. Our team was still short one person. I brushed past everyone trying to latch onto me and walked straight toward the girl curled up asleep on the ground hugging a pillow. Iris. Hey, music, Iris. The assessment's starting. Up you get. To my shouting and tickling assault, the girl just rolled over irritably and pulled the pillow over her head. Guess the normal approach isn't going to cut it. Iris, cafeteria serving. At that, the girl snapped awake instantly sitting bolt upright. Serving? Serving already? Realizing she'd been tricked, she quickly scrolled liar Damien and dogs not welcome on her pillow, then flopped back down to sleep. No choice. Time for the nuclear option. Iris, get up. The test's starting. Because if you don't get up, I'm telling Zara that you're the one who ate her hidden snacks. The girl, no longer pretending, shot upright. Fine, fine. I'm awake, Damien. Music, now tell me what this test is. I'm taking it seriously. Done. My last teammate was locked in. I glanced over. Caroline's calculations had overloaded so badly, smoke was practically coming off her head. I gave it a knock. Caroline, quit running the numbers. That Terra Worm's star energy alone is more than 30 times ours. You could crunch numbers till tomorrow and our odds would still be 0. But. No buts. I popped a piece of candy into her mouth to shut her up. You think that pack of old fogies let that thing loose for any other reason than to knock us down a peg? Relax. Our goal isn't to beat it. It's to leave those old fogies stunned speechless. That's all. Iris eyed the candy, pouting. Did Damien, I need sugar, too. Give me. With a brain like yours, one that barely fires once every 2 weeks, you think you need sugar to fuel it? Go play somewhere else. Who says? I'm plenty good at thinking, thank you. Don't underestimate me, Damien. 10 by 25, what's the answer? T10, 12, 15, 250. You dummy. I dummy. I knew it was 250. I knew it was something out to show me, all bluster. I am not a dummy, Damien. Look at this. I paid $100 for an IQ test last time. A full 150. That's genius level. No way. I snatched the phone and scanned it, then stared, genuinely stunned. Paying $100 for a scam test like this, now that makes you the dummy of all dummies. You're lying. Iris flushed, on the verge of tears. Caroline spoke up meekly. Iris, I actually took a similar test once. Iris instantly brightened. Really? Dummy, don't get your hopes up. Someone as sharp as Caroline either said that just to comfort you or she did take the test but never actually paid for it. Damien, stop. Alright, I'll stop. Not saying another word. Iris froze, stunned. It had just been a comforting lie all along. She immediately scrolled onto her pillow's message board. Damien is a liar who only bullies people. Music. I lunged to wipe it off, but Caroline grabbed both my hands. Let go of me. She's slandering me. That's outright slander. Am I really the kind of person who lies for fun? Calm down, Damien. Just calm down. Why are you arguing with a kid? Finn and Zara hadn't gotten far. Music. Watching our chaos unfold, Finn asked, Sis, you think Damien's team can pass the final assessment? Damien ranked first. Iris ranked third. Plus Caroline ranked fourth. Just going by raw stats, they're already the strongest team among all 12 out there. If even they can't clear the final assessment, I honestly can't think of anyone who could. Anyway, forget them. Worry about yourself instead, because if you drag me down out there, I will not let it slide. Got it. Meanwhile. Music. Behind the one-way glass of the very important person room above, the elites were watching us as well. However you look at it, Damien's team is clearly the strongest, and yet even so, I still don't see them having even a sliver of a chance. After all, a Tier 2 terror worm is a notoriously vicious beast, top tier even among its own rank. If even Damien's team struggles to last 3 minutes against it, then forget about the other teams that don't even come close. Doctor, are you sure this final assessment setup isn't a mistake? No, if anything, I think this Tier 2 terror worm is exactly right. Just watch closely, everyone. That boy, Damien, he's going to give you quite a surprise. Oh, now this is interesting. Mr. Viper leaned in to watch. The final assessment began. We stepped onto the arena. Iris's legs had already gone weak. Eyes brimming with tears, she tugged at my sleeve. Damien, my legs are shaking. Hold me up, please. Coward, that thing's not actually going to. It won't go for a killing blow. That's not so certain, Vera cut in, sliding up beside us. Today's assessment isn't like the ones before, little Damien. If you approach it with the same reckless attitude as always toward this one, you might come out fine, but Caroline and Iris, that's another story. The doctor personally told me himself the VIPs are watching your performance very closely right now, and told my terror worm not to hold back at all. As for the doctor's temperament, I don't think I need to spell it out. You know how stubborn that old man is, stubborn as a mule and twice as insufferable. At the mention of the doctor, my expression soured. Once he's made up his mind about something, no matter what anyone says, he'll see it through to the end. But Vera, music, I recall a normal terror worm's back ridge scales are usually a dull yellow-gray, right? But look at the metallic sheen on this one's back. I can see it from 100 m away. This is no ordinary terror worm. Looks like it's on the verge of a breakthrough. Oh, who could say? The star beast you personally trained, and you're telling me you don't know? You're lying to a kid seriously. Iris's legs were trembling so hard she could barely stand. Tadanian, I just remembered I have somewhere to be. Got to run. I grabbed her by the collar. Going somewhere? Damian, just let me go down first, please. Nice try. You're already here. Let's go. I leapt down with Iris in tow, her wailing no the whole way. Caroline caught up from the entrance right after. Everyone ready? Vera called down, official now. I clamped a hand on Iris, who was frantically shaking her head, and nodded on her behalf. All right, final assessment begin. The moment the beast was released, it opened with a sonic roar. The gale it kicked up whipped our hair wild, nearly knocking us off our feet. It charged straight at us, then planted itself behind Caroline, coiled and ready to strike. Scatter! Caroline shouted urgently. I bolted for cover. Iris steered her pillow, speeding away from the beast. In the observation room, Iris's razor-precise power control left the VIPs somewhat taken aback. Impressive. I did wonder earlier. With a personality flaw as glaring as hers, how this girl still managed to rank third among monsters like these star children. Now I understand. Her talent for power control must be top tier, S rank probably. This girl called Iris is impressive, sure, but that star-seer mongoose behind her is no less remarkable. Completing a full star energy data analysis in that short a window, at such a young age, to already possess that kind of processing power. Music. Another little monster. Allow me a brief aside. The Star Energy Data Link is the Mecha Intel class's specialty. Using themselves as a signal relay, they connect to teammates through star energy, sharing real-time battlefield data with the whole team. Pulling that off was no simple feat. It demanded serious processing power because otherwise the sheer flood of battlefield information alone would be enough to overwhelm a Mecha Intel user's mind. Talent like that was nothing short of extraordinary. Their performance was remarkable, no doubt, but it wasn't enough. Reaching my position, I braced head-on for the beast charge and triggered my skill, Heaven's Eye Future Sight. It was one of my base abilities, reading a target's energy flow, predicting their next move before it came. At its core, it was outcome projection. Fully predicting a tier -2 star beast every move wasn't realistic, but I only needed one precious opening. That was enough. A flood of information poured into my mind. For a moment, my brain nearly buckled under the weight, sweat pouring down. Projection running. After a rapid calculation, I had it. The terror worm's attack trajectory and move. Half a second out. Before its massive claw could land, I made it out in time. A flash step dodge. The terror worm's eyes flickered with something unreadable. Clearly not expecting me to have dodged. It surged forward again, relentless. Even with half a second's foresight, the sheer gap in raw stats between us meant I still couldn't land any meaningful counterattack. The students waiting outside were already shaking. You've got to be kidding. Can we actually survive 3 minutes against a monster like that? Sis. Finn instinctively edged towards Zara for reassurance. Zara, as ever, stayed cold. Quiet. Watch. Meanwhile, back in the very important person room above. Holding out this long against a tier 2 terror worm, that boy Damien lives up to being called the strongest. Though, if I'm reading this right, Damien is probably buying time for the Starseer mongoose. Otherwise, he's had several openings already to put distance between himself and the terror worm. Let his teammates share the pressure. And drag the fight out as long as possible. But he hasn't taken any of them. Instead, he's baiting it on purpose. Probably because he thinks that besides himself, his two teammates would have a hard time weathering this worm's assault. Madame Canary swirled her glass, intrigued. Even a tier -2 star beast holding back, a single casual strike from it is well beyond what these half-grown kids could ever imagine surviving, isn't it? Mr. Viper joined in. The Mecha Intel class's biggest edge over the others is information, gathering and organizing it. That Starseer mongoose hasn't moved from that one spot since the fight started. Which means it's been gathering, analyzing every precious bite of data Damien's been feeding it. There's just one thing I can't figure out. What's that? For the Mecha Intel class, all that data gathering and processing ultimately exists to find one small sliver of possibility buried inside a mountain of impossible odds. Otherwise, cold raw data alone can never translate into a decisive victory. So then, what's their goal in gathering all this data? What possibility are they so desperately chasing? Just stretching the fight out as long as possible. I doubt that's really it. Something seemed to have caught Madame Canary's attention, too, and she fell into thought. The doctor, catching wind of their exchange, let a knowing smile curl beneath his silver mask. Buying time? No, Damien would never make that choice. That would mean conceding defeat in his own heart in advance, and that was something Damien could never accept. Rule out every impossibility, and what's left is the only answer. Damien's goal was never to stall for time. He was waiting for one perfect chance to strike back. Come on, then, Damien. Show me exactly where your limits lie. The doctor was right. Winning this final assessment on my own terms, that was what I decided from the very start. As for the rules, those had only ever been shackles built for the weak. I, Damien, followed only the law inside my own heart. Damien, Caroline had finally finished her calculations. Hearing her voice behind me, I smiled. After all that stalling with the terror worm, she'd finished exactly what I'd needed her to do. Now, it was my turn to perform. I dropped my earlier approach entirely. For the first time, putting real distance between myself and the terror worm. Iris, right. Iris steered her pillow, charging straight at the terror worm's belly. Dream corruption. Her move conjured hundreds of butterflies in an instant, swarming straight for the terror worm's head. The sudden blindness froze the beast's movements for a brief moment. I shut my eyes, using that window to receive the data streaming in from Caroline. Old injury, left front knee. A 0.03 second gap in its energy flow there. I knew exactly how to hit it. My eyes snapped open, energy gathering at my fingertips. Harassed by the butterflies, the worm swiped its claws in irritation. Iris dodged just in time. Then, it turned and charged straight at me again. Star technique, pressure. I aimed with pinpoint precision, striking the old wound on its left knee, where the thick scale armor hadn't fully grown back. The terror worm let out a roar of agony and crashed to the ground, unmoving. Watching it unfold, Madame Canary's glass slipped from her fingers and shattered on the floor. Unbelievable. Truly unbelievable. 3 kids who haven't even hit Tier 1, and they actually wounded a Tier -2 star beast. Talent, courage, strategy, and nerve under pressure. This kid truly was a born leader. If he hadn't willingly shouldered the vast majority of the danger himself, then no matter how airtight the plan, there'd have been no guarantee it would have gone as intended at all. Damien, are you really that certain you won't make a mistake? Are you really that unafraid of failing? The doctor couldn't fathom my reasoning. If I'd simply played it safe, stalled for time, I could have passed easily. But I'd resolutely chosen a path no one had seen coming. What I wanted was never delay. It was a counterattack, shattering everyone's assumptions, showing them a miracle was possible. And now, that miracle stood right in front of them all. The terror worm rose again, furious, its dormant savagery fully unleashed. But once it spotted where we'd retreated to, its expression twisted into something almost human, bewilderment. Oh, still sulking over there, big guy? The assessment's already over. Unable to return the damage it had taken, the terror worm slammed a fist into the ground, seething. Look at that, he's mad. I pointed at it from outside the ring, addressing everyone. And here I thought a Tier -2 star beast would have a longer fuse than that. Damien, Caroline said flatly from beside me, you're going to get the people testing after us killed. Not my problem, my assessment's done. I put my hands on my hips, entirely unbothered. Hearing that, the other star children around us went pale. Who's insane enough to go next after this? But right then, Zara unexpectedly walked straight toward the arena. Sis, wait. Finn tried to stop her. It's still riled up. Sis, just wait. Wait a little longer. Zara, impatient, pressed her blade's tip against her brother's throat. Finn, do you know why I've never respected you? It's not just about talent or strength, it's that you've always had a weakling's mindset. The moment trouble comes, you run. This time's no different. Go on and hide, Finn. Zara sheathed her blade, her tone bitter with disappointment. Find a way to hide for the rest of your life, then. Your cowardice, your fear, one day, it'll cost you everything you hold dear. The words hit Finn like a blow. You can run. I can't. Because if even I turn and run, where's someone as weak as you supposed to hide? So even knowing the abyss waits just ahead, I still have to walk straight into it, no hesitation. Since there's no one standing in front of me. So get out of my way, coward. Don't block my path. With that, she ignored Finn, who stood there hollowed out, and walked straight toward the arena. Hey, Zara. I called out, amused. No one standing in front of you, really? That's a bit much, don't you think? Overlooking me entirely? Remember, you're only ranked second. I'm the one at the top of the start. That's simple, really. I'm the weakest one here. But precisely because I'm the weakest, no one bothers paying attention to me. And precisely because I'm the weakest, no one goes out of their way to target me, either. The strong live by the rules of the strong, and naturally, the weak have their own rules, too. Since I was never going to be strong, why not try the weak one's way to carve out my own path to survive? Finn rose to his feet, gun in hand. In that moment, his void mark awakened. It was a strange power, one that could dissolve any star energy directed at him. Another power still lay dormant inside him, one that hadn't yet acknowledged him, unusable for now. But for him, this was already enough. He'd found his way through the assessment. He wanted to prove to everyone here that even the most insignificant weakling still had the right to survive. Watching Finn finally stop dragging his feet, I let a smile curl at my lips. Ah, there it goes at last. Caroline's brain short-circuited. What goes? The weakest link. Vanishing, of course. I turned and walked off. After all, if the weak one is to survive in this cruel world, they have to make good use of the strong's contempt, don't you think? Damien, the assessment's not over yet. Where are you going? Where else? The cafeteria, sugar refill. Isn't this a little too against the rules? Rules are for the weak to follow. Damien, I am the rule. Caroline stared at the arena, brow twisting into a knot. On the arena floor, Zara and Finn were pinned down under the terror worm's star energy field. Zara refused to accept it. Damien could land a hit on this thing. I'm not that far behind him. Just once. Just as the worm looked down with disdain on the ants beneath it, a shadow no one had noticed stirred. It slipped out from an unremarkable gap in the arena floor. Finn quietly closed his hand around the demon blade, blood flame. At first, his hand shook violently. The blade's presence pushed back against him, sneering at every ounce of his past cowardice, but he held it steady anyway. I only get one shot, just one. Holding his breath, Finn edged silently around behind the terror worm. Before long, he'd reached the perfect striking position. This time, he'd turned possibility into certainty. Meanwhile, I'd already made it to the cafeteria, digging into a delicious strawberry cake with chocolate milk. A last stand from the weakest of them all. Now, that's interesting. Timing's about right. If I head back now, I should catch the best part. Finn, trying to survive right under the noses of the strong. That's never an easy thing to pull off. Especially when the other side is already read you completely. Back in the arena, Finn swung the demon blade into the attack. The blade landed with precision, straight into the old wound on the terror worm's left knee. Blood gushed instantly, and the worm lashed out. Its claw slamming straight into Finn's face. Finn was sent flying, the demon blade clattering to the ground. The worm lowered its head disbelieving, staring in shock at the gruesome blood-soaked gash on its own knee. And the terror worm's star energy field, rattled by that sudden strike, flickered with a faint crack. Finn seized the opening. He scooped the demon blade back up off the ground, using the fact that the worm's focus was still locked entirely on him, the gap it left him, to lunge in close. The instant the worm's right claw rose, Rin triggered her skill right on cue. Shadow Bind, Dark Thorn. Chains coiled around the terror worm's claw, still mid-rise, freezing it in place for one crucial beat. Without hesitation, Zara took the blade and struck the knee wound once more, this time wreathing it in flame. Struck again and again, the terror worm finally lost all control. It backhanded Zara straight into the barrier. Unable to dodge in time, she was slammed against it by the beast's tail, her whole body crackling with the sound of shattering bone. See that? Anything Damien can do, Zara, can do just the same. But unlike Zara's triumph, the terror worm had lost itself entirely to rage. A proud tier -2-star beast, wounded again and again by a handful of scrawny kids, it charged, sworn to deliver Zara a killing blow. Enough. Vera flashed in beside Zara instantly. In front of a tier -2-star wielder, the berserk beast snapped straight back to its senses. Terror filled its eyes, and it could do nothing but crouch, trembling, head bowed to the ground. Once things had settled, Vera opened her calm notify the medical team. Get 2 S-rank recovery pods ready immediately. Medics rushed onto the field, reaching Zara and Finn, moving as fast as they could to administer emergency treatment. Rin, drained past her limits, had only slipped into a temporary blackout. Medics lifted Zara onto a gurney at once and rushed her off for treatment. Fighting through the pain, Zara forced her eyes open. See that, Damien? I'm not beneath you. This isn't over between us. After the assessment ended, I headed back to my room. Right in front of me, an empty air, lines of text only I could see appeared. Notice, Starchild Chronicles Embers is now airing in the real world. Cross-dimensional viewing has been unlocked. Live comments and real-time popularity rankings are now visible. Time to see the results then. 8 p.m. On a streaming site in the real world, the show officially went live. As a character in this very show, I sat glued to the numbers ticking away on the back end. In an age where looks ruled everything, I knew exactly how much a first impression mattered. The episode opened with the protagonist Finn curled up in his dorm counting star points. Then at the cafeteria, his nutrition meal got snatched by a bully and all he did was apologize. Exactly as expected, the chat exploded instantly. The audience's fury was right on schedule. People could forgive weakness. What they couldn't forgive was accepting mediocrity in your own heart. A handful defended him, but the argument only grew louder. Still, that kind of controversy worked in my favor. After all, I was the fully maxed out monster about to walk on. As the story moved forward, the world itself began to unfold. This was a world built entirely around star sources, the origin of every extraordinary power in it. 95 years ago, a strange meteor shower scattered countless star source fragments across the sky. Those who gained power from the fragments came to be known as star wielders. Animals and plants that gained power became star beasts and star flora. The audience's enthusiasm ticked back up slightly, but their disdain for Finn hadn't gone anywhere. The comments softened a little. Now this is interesting. So it's a superpower-type world. I came here to unwind, not to torture myself watching this. I came for the thrill. Average looks, a spineless personality. What's even worth watching about a lead like that? Then it was my turn. I timed it perfectly, stepping into the entrance with Caroline at my side. Did Damien, Caroline, hey. Finn, that morning scene replayed right there on screen. The chat lit up over my looks instantly. Whoa, is that face even real? Sign me up, Catgirl. My popularity points shot up like crazy. 2 years of careful planning hadn't gone to waste. Every line, every flicker of expression, all of it building to this exact moment. Lord Damien, I'll be your dog. Reading a comment that unhinged, I nearly choked on my drink. As the first episode wound down, another one of my carefully planned popularity beats, Zara, made her entrance. Schlurp, lick, lick, lick. Whoever's above me, dial it down, please. Watching the comments flood the screen, the moment Zara appeared, I knew it. Zara was going to be my biggest rival on the road to the top of the popularity charts. The story flowed straight into the next act. Once my conflict with Zara boiled over, my aura completely drowned hers out. The pacing shot into overdrive. The chat was going wild. The budget's on fire. Holy hell, that pressure. My legs went weak through the screen. Damien's obviously the strongest one here. Just as I thought I had my popularity locked in, the screen suddenly cut to a memory even I hadn't seen coming. The flashback showed a silver-haired boy sitting alone atop the corpse of a three-headed wolf. A bloody paring knife lay stuck in the ground beside him. His left arm hung limp, clearly broken. Using only his right hand, he clumsily unwrapped a grimy piece of candy. Just as he was halfway through, a figure approached. "You did all this alone?" the woman asked, stunned. "Yeah." The boy confirmed it flatly, still focused on getting the candy into his mouth. And after getting my confirmation, Vera fell silent for a long moment. A beat later, she made an offer to the child I'd been. "Hey kid, how about it? Want to join our organization?" My answer had been careless. "Sure, whatever." Back then it felt like it didn't matter where I went. It was only in that moment, biting into the candy, that I felt anything like a real kid. "You really love candy?" "Yeah." "Why's that?" Vera crouched down to ask. "Because Mom always said, eat enough candy and life stops tasting so bitter." So, that's how it was. A pang of sympathy hit Vera. The child in front of her had beaten a three-headed wolf, a low-tier beast that didn't even have a star core, but I'd paid no small price for it, either. Only since I'd stayed calm through the whole thing, Vera, back then, hadn't even noticed. That must have hurt. Let me patch you up in a minute. It's fine. It hurt a lot earlier, but once I had the candy, it stopped. Ha! Here. Vera pulled out an ornate gift box. I'd never seen anything like it, but I knew instantly it was worth a fortune. That's expensive, isn't it? Not to me. But young as I was, I had my own stubbornness, and I didn't take the chocolate. Vera coaxed gently. Just take it. Call it a welcome gift for joining us. I still didn't say a word. Seeing that, Vera simply forced it into my arms. Thanks, I managed, my voice a little hoarse. By the way, kid, what's your name? This time my answer came fast. Damien. Damien. Damien, huh? That's a good name. And with that, the flashback ended. System notice, audience emotional response detected. Sweet tooth addiction has been added to your character profile. Popularity points plus 2,000. I stared at the notice, genuinely caught off guard. I'd just been a kid with a sweet tooth, but in the version the production team had cut together, somehow I'd become the poster child for the whole beautiful, strong, and tragic trope. Not that the misunderstanding hurt me any. My only goal here was farming popularity points after all. The comments went into overdrive. Damien, you're all working to get strong. I was just born that way. Eat enough candy and life stops tasting so bitter. This backstory is unreal. Sweet enough to kill, that's Damien for you. Taking down a mutated three-headed wolf solo at age 8. That record cemented my born powerhouse image in the audience's minds. It also made my dominance over Zara in the story feel completely earned. By comparison, Finn's cowardice, the supposed protagonist, only looked more painfully awkward. The audience's mockery was practically unanimous until the screen dropped a hint about his star core. The audience caught the scent of a hidden cheat code instantly. It didn't change how much they despised Finn, though. Something's off. Very off. Called it. How's a sour-faced loser like that supposed to be the lead? So he's gotta cheat, huh? So what if he does? With that personality, even a cheat code can't save a washout like him. Amid the audience's chatter, Starchild Chronicles, Embers wrapped up its second episode, landing on the bed between Damien and Zara and instructor Vera's appearance. My plan to dominate the popularity charts had kicked off with a picture-perfect start. System report, name, Damien. Current popularity points, 12,000. Current popularity ranking, number 1. Holding first place, I didn't have to worry about a plot death anytime soon. On top of that, if I could stay ranked first by the time the season finished airing, I'd not only get a huge boost in screen time next season, but also earn a character promotion worth 1,000,000 popularity points and unlock a one-time exclusive backstory edit privilege. The exclusive backstory edit privilege. Letting me freely rewrite my character's backstory once, including adding a custom story beat and tacking on up to one extra talent setting. That so-called backstory edit privilege was basically a free cheat code thrown in for good measure. Because the moment I got it, I could immediately slap on something like a natural-born max-level combat talent, a straight-up broken setting. It would massively boost my potential while cementing even further my image as a born powerhouse. That said, I'd already had a plan for exactly how to use that privilege because the single most important thing in the Starchild world was, without question, the star source. Basically, this world's version of a devil fruit. After all, why would the Embers even bother running a final assessment or invite so many powerful VIPs to watch? The real reason, boiled down, was making sure all 36 star children each got a star source suited to them. Because, on its own, the Embers couldn't produce 36 precious star sources by themselves, let alone guarantee that all 36 star children each got a star source that matched their own star core. That's exactly why the final assessment existed and why all those VIPs had shown up. The assessment itself was meant to identify the strongest few star children in the program and hand over whatever star sources the organization already had on hand that suited them best. That way every resource got put to maximum use. The VIPs, meanwhile, were there because the Starchild program showed off its value to them, convincing them to willingly invest in it and provide the remaining star children with the star sources they still needed. And once I understood just how important star sources were in this world, it was only natural I decided to spend my precious future backstory edit privilege on building out my star source system. In other words, adding in extra talent. After all, the star source I was about to pick was vector control. And if I wanted to push vector control's full potential to its absolute limit, I'd need a top-tier talent from the Mecha Intel class. Overclock calculus, because only by holding both Mecha Intel's overclock calculus and the star energy scans from the star eclipse heaven's eye, could I form what for now only existed in my imagination, a nearly unsolvable vector system. And right now, I already have the star eclipse heaven's eye. Once I passed the final assessment, I get the vector control I wanted right away, which meant overclock calculus was the only piece I was still missing. Once that puzzle was complete, I wouldn't just be a born powerhouse anymore. I'd be a genuinely strong one. And when that happened, every viewer chasing a power fantasy high would carry me straight to the top of the charts. Sunday's third episode aired. The final assessment began in the central arena. The colossal tier -2 terror worm stomped into view, and its sheer presence made viewers hold their breath even through the screen. And against that, when I called out star technique, Azure, landing a precise strike on the worm's weak spot, knocking it clean off its feet. My image as the strongest had already burrowed deep into every viewer's mind, and my popularity points spiked right along with it. I was fully satisfied with a highlight reel I'd engineered for this season. But these easy days were about to run out. Once the assessment ended, the gap between everyone would shrink once they all got their star sources. And right after that came the brutal main plot line. The embers were about to take a devastating hit. I opened the popularity shop and fixed my eyes on one item. Item, Death Feign Bracelet. Effect, blocks one fatal blow, triggering a state of feigned death. You wake up one day later. Price, 100,000 popularity points. I still owed the system nearly $1 million, but my plan called for the risk. Raw strength and good looks were fireworks, gone in a flash. Only a character with real personality could actually last. Acting goofy day to day, eating sweets on camera, all of it was to close the distance with the audience. But real charisma needed a story with real impact. Strong wasn't enough. I needed tragic, too. Heartbreak was the real key to going viral. You spent 100,000 popularity points. Death Feign Bracelet purchased. Ha ha. If I wanted a flash of popularity to become lasting devotion, I'd have to pay a price for it. I planned to use this item to experience a genuine death in the story to come. It was insane, but the payoff was massive, worth every bit of the risk. An hour later, Caroline was mid-meal when I dropped myself down right next to her, taking in the smell of food. Ooh, extra rations today, huh? Hey, Caroline, why are you just standing there doing nothing? Damien, aren't you a little old to be stealing food? I grabbed a spoon and dug in with gusto. Caroline, how can you call this stealing? I, Damien, would never do something that's shameless. Wasn't this thoughtfully served just for me? Besides, you feed me today, and tomorrow I'll take a bullet for you. Anyone wants to mess with you, they'll have to step over my dead body first. Caroline just went blank, chalking it up to nonsense and resigned herself to her stolen meal. Fine. Need dessert, too? Absolutely. Watching Caroline's back, I let the reckless act drop, a flicker of guilt crossing my eyes. I'm sorry, Caroline. I know I always act like I'm taking advantage of you, but some things can only be said as a joke. Heroes aren't allowed to cry, after all, which means the one who does the crying will have to be you. You'll be the one to witness this brilliant firework of a death, and you'll be the one to steer the audience straight into grieving mind. As long as I apologize properly afterward, you'll forgive me, won't you? We've known each other for years now. You've always put up with my childishness, my selfishness, haven't you? I watched Our Child Chronicles Embers, projected by the system, episode 4. Watching this life I'd personally lived through from a god's eye view, it really did feel strangely surreal. Damien, why are you so out of it just eating? Caroline couldn't see the screen and just figured I was zoning out at thin air. Nothing, just thinking about stuff. I brushed her off absently, my attention still locked on the screen. The story had reached the part where Zara chose, on her own, to challenge the enraged Terra worm. Go on and hide, Finn. Find a way to hide for the rest of your life, then. Your cowardice, your fear, one day, it'll cost you everything real you have. You can run. I can't, because if even I turn and run, where's someone as weak as you supposed to hide? So, even knowing the abyss waits just ahead, I still have to walk straight into it, no hesitation, since there's no one standing in front of me. So, get out of my way, coward. Don't block my path. Line delivered, cool as ever, Zara walked toward the arena. The chat was instantly won over. I misjudged her. The sharp tongues just armor. Sis, I'm all in. Staring at the comments packed wall to wall, the food in my mouth suddenly lost all its flavor. I'd figured sure that once the scene aired Zara's popularity would spike explosively, but seeing it now, I'd clearly underestimated just how devastating this scene would be on the audience. A fan favorite pairing hot lines like that with a beloved character. For real-world veteran fans, that combo was straight up off the charts. Good thing I hadn't just sat there doing nothing. I'd stepped in with a fix right on time. Otherwise, I'd have taken a real loss. The camera cut to the candy pinched between Zara's fingers. Zara was quietly thinking, "I'll make sure everyone knows this crown." When my voice suddenly cut in. "Hey, Zara. No one's standing in front of you." "Really? That's a bit much, don't you think? Overlooking me entirely? Remember, you're only ranked second. I'm the one at the top of the star children." The camera froze on our gazes, locking heavy with destiny. A gorgeous face double punched straight to the audience's heart. The comments boiled over instantly. Thanks to me elbowing my way in, what should have been Zara's solo spotlight moment ended up turning into a two-hander between the two of us. And in that scene meant to burn bright for her, I somehow came out on top by a hair. I ended up being the real protagonist of that whole highlight moment. My popularity growth clearly outpaced hers. I'd completely stolen the spotlight that should have been Zara's. Not bad. Exactly what I needed. I'd have to keep this up. Zara's team's assessment kicked off next, while Finn just watched cowering off to the side. The chat had had enough. Why is a washout like that the lead? Worst protagonist ever. Refund, please. Until in Finn's mind he remembered the very first thing I told him. Remember, when you feel like you're out of options, just ask yourself why you're still alive right now. After genuinely thinking through what it meant for the week to survive, the fear in Finn's eyes hardened into resolve. Star energy surged through his void mark. The chat started catching on. Wait, Damien's clearly in on this, too. Finn, the fake protagonist. Damien, the real one. Might as well rename this show the Damien Chronicles. Amid the chat's back and forth, someone flagged just how unusual Finn really was. Oh, everyone else only gets 1-star core. And this guy's got 2? No wonder he's the lead. 4 episodes in and the protagonist finally starting to look like one. Oh, there it goes at last. What goes? Caroline once again had no idea what I meant. The weakest link vanishing, of course. After all, if the weak want to survive in this cruel world, they have to make good use of the strong's contempt. Don't you think? The chat finally realized I'd been setting this up since episode 1. That's actually terrifying. Somebody check if Damien's a transmigrator. The fake protagonist claws his way to an awakening. The real protagonist watches, effortlessly elegant. The reason the audience reacted so strongly was that I seemed to exist on a completely different plane from Finn and the rest of the Star Children. I looked down on everyone around me with something close to a god's eye view. And that kind of strength, in mindset, in strategy, sent chills down the audience's spine instantly. That detached, above-it-all mindset, stacked on top of everything I'd already set up, instantly convinced everyone without question that I was the strongest one in the whole Starchild Chronicles embers. A show wasn't like real life after all. Viewers couldn't predict where real life was headed, but they could absolutely predict where a show was headed, and even pick up, however vaguely, on what the creators were trying to say. Which meant that even if I wasn't the strongest fighter in the show right now, every one of them was already convinced that eventually I'd grow into the strongest fighter this show had. And once that belief took root in the audience's minds, my job here was done. Because from the very start, I'd never once forgotten that I was living inside a show. Surviving and winning popularity points was the only thing that mattered. The latest episode ended. I closed the window. Caroline, I'm done eating. Take your time. I'll head back first. Oh, sure. Whatever Finn did from here on out didn't matter anymore. I'd already locked down the show's one and only untouchable spot. Because fan speculation was the single most unreasonable force in the world. Once I'd finished eating, I left the cafeteria and headed back to my dorm. I stared at the Death Feint bracelet on my wrist, working out the endgame for Season 1. A Tier 2 star wielder plus several Tier 1s, knowing all their weaknesses and quirks, as long as I made good use of the next 6 months, I stood a solid chance of taking them all down with me. Still, if I wanted this fireworks show to hit exactly the mark I wanted, I'd need to push my might even further. Ugh, robbing Peter to pay Paul. When am I ever going to pay off this popularity debt? I opened the popularity shop again, digging for the one item that could change everything. Get my hands on it, pair it with tomorrow's vector control, and I'd have everything I needed. 6 months from now, at the end of Season 1, I give everyone a fireworks show, the most brilliant, most heartbreaking one there was. 1 day later. Morning, Damien. Iris, half asleep, waved a lazy hand at me. Last one through the door, as I made my way to my usual seat. Relax, everyone. It's just a Star Source selection meeting. I leaned back until I found a comfortable spot, eyeing the wound still on Zara's arm. I couldn't resist getting a jab in. Hey, Zara, that wound still hasn't healed? Guess our medical team's not up to snuff. Otherwise, how'd they miss basic scar-free healing? It's got nothing to do with them. I asked them to leave the scar on purpose. Because it reminds me, every single time I see it, that I need to push myself harder, so a moment like that never happens again. Oh, desperate, huh? Funny, because from where I stood, the final assessment looked pretty easy. Didn't you just waltz up there and it was over? Zara, catching that I was just needling her, ignored me. The meeting room door opened. The doctor and Vera walked in. Everyone stood to greet them, except me, still slouched lazily in my chair. At least fake it. You've got no manners at all. Vera walked over and rapped me on the head. Vera, I'm still recovering, remember? Can't go moving around too much. She let out a short breath and turned away. Whatever. Not dealing with you today. Once everyone had settled, the doctor pulled up a screen. Good morning, everyone. I imagine you already know what these stars represent. That's right. These are the legendary star sources. 95 years ago, a strange meteor shower changed the world. And that shower was the origin of every one of these starborn powers. For a long time after, people met this strange power with equal parts curiosity and dread. And after all these years of research, we've more or less worked out some of how star sources actually function. The origin of a star, a planet's most fundamental, most core cosmic force. We still don't know what actually caused that meteor shower 95 years ago. But we do know that its arrival opened up an entirely new era. That said, just as star sources opened one new era, I believe all of you will open up a brand new one, an age called the Starchild era. Alright, everyone, aside from Damien and Finn, who's still in recovery, the rest of you follow Vera to go claim your star sources. Once they'd gone, the doctor showed me 2 star sources. Damien, are you sure that's the one you want? Given your performance, just say the word, and no matter how rare the star source, I could get my hands on it for you. Besides, based on everything we've observed about you over the years, there's an illusion-class star source right here in the base that would suit you perfectly. You're sure you want to pass on that one for something as plain as vector control? I said, arrogant as ever, whether something suits me isn't for anyone else to decide. The daydreamer, a shadow that spends its whole life hiding behind someone else, that's not my style, doctor. Damien, either I don't do it at all, or I do it as the strongest. So, doctor, I think vector control suits me just fine. I pulled the vector control star source and let it fuse completely into my body. As for the daydreamer, I'd leave that one for Finn. 3 days later, Finn woke up from his recovery pod, tubes still threaded all over his body. Doctor, he's awake. 3 days unconscious, and Finn's body hadn't taken any lasting internal damage. The medical team was floored. Half a day later, Finn shuffled over to the training grounds in his hospital gown. Hey, you healed up that fast? Iris asked, half asleep. Yeah, just woke up this morning. If you only just woke up, why didn't you stay in the recovery room and sleep some more? You know, I've tried plenty of times to ask the medical team for sick leave, but those annoying jerks not only kept turning me down, they said I was faking it. Then they even threatened me, said if I bothered them again, they'd tell Instructor Vera about my little sick leave scheme. Iris's eyes welled up, grieved just recounting it. Now, even when I'm actually sick, I'm too scared to go. So, with a golden opportunity to slack off just sitting right there, why aren't you making the most of it? You're so weird. Finn scratched his head, awkward, not sure how to respond. By then, Iris's eyes had drifted half shut, a thread of drool at the corner of her mouth, clearly sleep-talking. That's Iris's star source, Zara said, walking over to explain. Waking dream, base effect, lets her stay in deep sleep even while technically conscious. Training method, sleep more, dream more. Perfect for this lazy little sleepyhead. Hate to say it, but this star source basically boosted her slacking off skills. Zara threw up her hands exasperated. Nobody outside can ever tell whether she's actually slacking off or genuinely training. Finn's head dropped instinctively. Old habits of self-effacement dying hard. Have some confidence, Finn. The you standing here now isn't that same kid anymore, the washout everyone looked down on. Because if it hadn't been for you back then, Rin and I never could have landed a hit on that thing. Finn stayed quiet. He hadn't in that one moment found the courage, but the chains of a lifetime weren't so easy to break. Zara sighed, giving up, and turned to Iris instead. Iris, give me another piece of dream candy. No, Iris huffed. You still owe me from yesterday's dessert bet. And now you want more for me? Not happening. Zara flashed a mischievous grin, hoisted Iris up and gave her a good shake. A shower of candy tumbled out almost immediately. Ah, Iris shrieked. That's just one. Well, plus a few from the last couple days. I'll pay you back with the org's after-meal dessert later. Liar. Didn't you already lose your dessert to Damien? What are you even going to pay me with? Iris, just use mine. At that, Iris wrestled with herself for a moment, then decided, 1 month. Iris, don't push it. It's a few pieces of dream candy, that's it. And you want a whole month of my brother's dessert for that? You think that's a fair trade? 1 week tops. Otherwise, I'll just find my own way to pay you back. Fine. All right. 1 week it is. But I'm telling you now, no more shaking me down for dream candy after this. Deal. Suddenly, the room shuddered faintly, a few pebbles shaking loose. Sis, what was that just now? It's not someone's not attacking the base right now, are they? Finn asked, alarmed. It's nothing. Probably just Damien messing around with his new star source again. Totally normal. So, this shaking's happened more than once or twice then? Is Damien's star source really that strong? Otherwise, how would it cause a ruckus like that? Zara closed her eyes, briefly correcting him. Finn, it was never the star source that's strong. It's Damien himself. Because if it weren't Damien, I honestly can't imagine who else could push that star source this far. Ha? That star source? Finn didn't quite follow. Come on, since you want to see it, I'll show you. Damien doesn't care either way, whether people know what his star source actually does, he said. Just 3 days ago, only the weak worry about being targeted at every turn, living carefully, walking on eggshells. A true strong man stands utterly alone above heaven and earth, answering to no one but himself. So, even if his star source ability became common knowledge to every single person, he genuinely wouldn't care because, his exact words, Damien fears no one's challenge. That really does sound like Damien. Absolute confidence. Doesn't think twice about anyone else. Zara nodded in agreement, though a bitter thought crossed her mind. She, too, was just one more person he didn't think twice about. After getting her star source, the gap between her and Damien had only grown more hopelessly wide.